So what's it like to buy your first cryptocurrency on Kraken? Well, let's say I'm at a food truck I've never tried before. Am I gonna go all in on the loaded taco? No, sir. I'm keeping it simple, starting small. That's trading on Kraken. Pick from over 190 assets and start with the $10 in your pocket. Easy. Go to kraken.com and see what crypto can be. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payward Interactive Inc., PWI, DBA Kraken. View PWI's disclosures at kraken.com/legal/disclosures.
Empower your business or digital agency with Bluehost, trusted by over 5 million WordPress users globally. Bluehost features top-to-bottom hosting optimizations designed specifically for WordPress, giving you 24/7 access to a team of experts for support, plus thousands of WordPress help articles. So if you want to streamline WordPress website creation with intuitive controls and premium support, choose Bluehost, powering over 2 million websites worldwide.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to the podcast. I've got a fantastic guest for you today, Derek Selinger, and he's actually going to talk to the audience about these overarching concepts and themes, talking about dreaming big, creativity. He's also has a background in the entertainment and he was a former magician, and he's going to talk to us how clients can get camera ready and how to develop a stage presence and media production. I'm really happy to have him on the show. So Derek, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to get this done. And so briefly introduce yourself and how you got started and how it led to what you're doing now.
Yeah, as you said, my name is Derek Selinger, and I'm many things. I've been involved in many different industries. My first career was actually in higher education. I ran a residence program and coached college basketball, and I loved that job. It was a real dream job for me. But while I was doing that, I was also dabbling in the art of magic. It was just like, it was a hobby for me. But this strange thing happened while I was in that career as I went to a show hosted by a Vegas headliner. And I met him there at he had a workshop after the show for magicians. And he invited me to Las Vegas to begin to study with. And that really started to turn my life and career. And I literally, after a few years, ran away and joined the circus and became a full-time entertainer. And that parlayed into opening a production company. And I ran a film and video production company and began to speak professionally and work with corporations on some of the things you mentioned.
That's interesting. And I know the audience, when they're listening to this, they're like, wow, it's quite a different, but a lot of the skill sets that you learned will translate into your business. So talk about what were the pivotal moments and what were the inspirations to go from the entertainment into helping corporate clients and in just the business industry.
Yeah, thank you. There's a few of those moments. The first one it's important to draw attention to. It happened when I was 8 years old. As a kid, like a lot of people, I was bullied as a kid a bit. I had a speech impediment. I lisped a lot and couldn't form my words. I had to go to speech class, and I had some stress-induced dyslexia. Anyway, I just was like a little bit socially awkward as a younger kid. And when I was 8, my mom began to notice that this was really taking a toll on me. So she sat me down at the kitchen table and she said, Derek, I need to tell you something. You're special. Now, all moms are supposed to say that. All moms are supposed to say that. She said, you're special, and I'm going to tell you something that happened to you that might change the way things. She told me this story that when she was pregnant with me, she was electrocuted or shocked. She didn't die. So I think the technical term is shocked. But 220 volts of electricity grabbed her and it almost killed her. And she was rushed to the hospital. The doctors said, we think you're going to be okay, but we don't know about your baby, first trimester. If you carry your baby to term, we don't know if it'll survive, and it most certainly will not be normal, which is true, which is very true. I am definitely not normal. And she said, she told me this story, and at 8 years old, I had two really distinct thoughts. The first is that I have superpowers. Like, I'm electrocuted in vitro. Like, I've got to have some kind of like dynamic Spider-Man type powers. And I tried to fly at 8 years old. I was jumping off my bed, seeing if I could, it didn't work. Maybe that's why I became a magician. And the second thought at 8, and this is a really profound thought for an 8-year-old. The second thought was, it's a miracle that I'm alive. My life is a gift. I have an opportunity to do something with this. That's a mind-blowing thought at any age, let alone 8. And that thought has really been in my mind from that day forward. I have carried it with me. And the same is true for us all. Even if you've not had a near-death experience, you've been like, like your life is a gift. The fact that you're alive today is tremendous. It's amazing. And we get to make the most of this precious gift of life we've been given. So with that in my mind, I've always been attentive and aware of what can I do? What's the thing that I can do in a unique way that no one else can? And discovering magic and becoming professional was part of that. It was definitely a part of that. But there was many other things I was involved in as a youth because I was seeking for what was my area of genius. And I think this is something that we have to remember to continue to seek for. Looking for our areas of genius. Even as adults, even as professionals, you may have a steady career, but that doesn't mean you can't take up painting. That doesn't mean you can't begin to explore other interests in your life. And maybe that will continue your area of genius. As a magician, I was a performing magician. I performed in Las Vegas, performed on a cruise ship. I won nice awards like the People's Choice Award at the World Championships. And my career is going great. But I began to realize that I wanted to have a stronger voice in encouraging people in the business sector to really make a difference, because I really think that business is magic. And when we're involved in people's lives and making a difference, like it really is one of the most tremendous things we can do in the world. So I began to really focus a lot of my help outside of magic on helping professionals and helping business people really embrace their opportunity. And of course, magic plays a part in it because it's such a visual and dynamic art form.
Empower your business or digital agency with Bluehost, trusted by over 5 million WordPress users globally. Bluehost features top-to-bottom hosting optimizations designed specifically for WordPress, giving you 24/7 access to a team of experts for support, plus thousands of WordPress help articles. So if you want to streamline WordPress website creation with intuitive controls and premium support, choose Bluehost, powering over 2 million websites worldwide. Mothers know all about life's tricky transitions. Thankfully, Ollie helps you prioritize wellness through every age, life stage, or magnificent mood change. Need a multitasking multivitamin that keeps up with you? How about an essential prenatal for you and baby? Ollie's got you through it all. Life's tricky. Your wellness routine shouldn't be. Get what you need at ollie.com.
Yeah, interesting. And I actually had another guest on the show who is also in the magic industry as well. And I also had a comedian, entertainer as well, and then going to give TEDx talks and clients. So the question is, what kind of these skills, translatable skills from the entertainment industry apply in coaching and consulting and ultimately building a corporate business structure?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that the parallels have increased in volume in the last several years. When COVID hit, everybody had to be ready for the camera. We were all on Zoom. All our meetings, we were all TV stars instantly. And I had a lot of calls during COVID to help people out, just get ready for being on calls like this. Actually, one of the pieces of advice I give now is getting on podcasts like yours is a really wise thing to do, because it helps you practice your stories and practice your delivery and get comfortable with this, so that if, you get called to be on television or do some media for your company, you're ready for it, right? You're always, okay, I know how to do this. So there's so many of those skills which apply. Like a very small thing that you do extremely well here with your podcast is like your camera is at the right height. So often people, when they're doing Zooms, they have the laptop on the ground and it's pointed up at their nose and it looks terrible. Like, just get the camera up to chin line to eye level so that it's like you're talking to a person. That really small detail makes such a massive difference. Making sure that your audio sounds good. Like, these are small details that professionals didn't need to think about this stuff 10 years ago. This was like, no, they come to my office, but now it doesn't matter who you are. You're going to be on camera at some point. So you got to be ready for that. And then the second part that I really have done a lot of work with executives and professionals on is developing their stories. because people get really uncomfortable. They're like, I got nothing to say. Oh my gosh, I'm not interesting. Okay, stop right there. I guarantee you are. I guarantee it. I have worked with so many executives that started a process with me where they're like, I don't know what to do. And all I have them do is list out the journey that they went on to become the professional or business owner they are. And then I just help them organize it. And it's amazing once you list out your story, and everybody can do this, just literally make a list of all the stories in as much detail as you can. You can even dictate it and then transcribe it because of technology. Do that, put it all out there, and then get something called the hero's journey, right? It's this reel that you find online which talks about Joseph Campbell's understanding of how to tell a story, and just slotting your story points into that wheel. And you're going to find you have a really comprehensive, cohesive story. That's the simplest way to do it. We could all do it. And you, trust me, whoever you are, you've got an amazing story. You just need to organize it.
Yeah. Yeah, really. And what I've learned from talking to individuals such as yourself and others is it's all marketing and it's how you present yourself. It's all public speaking. It's
Yes.
communication, it's empathy, emotional intelligence, and they translate everywhere. It's any industry. It's all about these kind of people skills and how you come across, which brings me to my next question is you've done all this. And the other question is, so a lot of people, what I've noticed is they don't dream big. But you talk about the meaning of dreaming big. And I had this epiphany. I'm like, it's easier to dream big than it is to dream small. And because if you dream small and you make it, I could have done more, but it's like dreaming big is same amount of effort. It's just different process. So talk about what does it mean to dream big?
Yeah, thank you. It's my passion. Like you've touched on, this is what my TEDx talk was about, is creating the process by which we can dream big. And this started for me when I was a kid too. I remember the motivational speaker coming to the school and sitting in the gym. And I don't know, they did something crazy. You can't climb the mountain or won a medal or something like that. And they tell us, dream big. And then they go away. And I'm like, okay, what the heck does that mean? What does dream big mean? And there's a statement that you could be anything you want. That's clearly not true because I wanted to be an NBA basketball star. Okay. Like I really did, man. Like I loved basketball. I went to all the camps. I worked really hard, but it turns out I have average athletic ability. It doesn't matter how hard I worked at that. I wasn't going to become a professional basketball player. It just wasn't going to happen for me. That doesn't mean it wasn't worth pursuing, but you have to switch your mentality because I think what happens a lot for us is we have some kind of dream that we really put our heart into and it fails. It fails. And then we're like, oh, it doesn't work for me. Oh, dreaming big doesn't work for me. It'll work for the big football players. It'll work for the big movie stars, but it doesn't work for me. Clearly I'm an outlier. I need to dream smaller. So what we do is we shrink our dreams down. We make them accessible because we do not want to have the uncomfortability of reaching for something grand and missing because we've been told if you don't do that, you failed. And that is not true. The essence of my premise is simply this. It's not never give up on your dream. It's never give up on dreaming, never give up on the process. Because there's a saying that your dream may be a seed, but seeds don't sprout and grow unless they die. So some dreams need to die and they grow into something new. And that new thing may be the thing you need to pursue. Now I'm living proof of that. I've pursued many dreams in my life. So many of them have failed, but guess what? They have changed my perspective. They've changed my trajectory and they changed what I was going to dream for next. And the worst thing we could do is truncate our dreams, to shrink them down and make them small because they don't allow us to become what we are meant to be, which is dreamers, which is visionaries, which is like the bird, like a bird without flight. Is that really a bird? It's a chicken. You don't want to be a chicken. You want to be an eagle. You want to be a hawk. You want to be soaring. But that moment in between the branch and the cliff is really uncomfortable because it's like you're hanging in nothing. But we got to do it, man. Got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And which the other thing that goes with dreaming big is creativity. And you have this, you said this process where you talk about the process of dreaming big as well as how it integrates with creativity. Talk more about that.
Totally. I'm working with corporations now on understanding AI. because AI is like magic and it's, this is crazy. We could do all these things. And so what industry is doing, understandably, is they're creating policies and standard operating procedures when it comes to technology, which you've got to do that. You got to create the boundaries of the sandbox. But nobody's talking about how do we actually make things inside the sandbox. I call it the creative operating procedure, the COP. We all need to develop that. And this is important whether you're a business, whether you're a corporation, or whether you're an individual. You need to think through what is your creative operating procedure? Now, the one thing I want to caution people about is when I describe this, these 3 points I'm going to describe are like signposts on a journey to create a flywheel of creativity. And what we can't do is turn it into a rigid structure going, oh, I checked this box, so I can move to this box, because that's not how creativity works. Creativity is like magic, right? It's meant to be bringing order out of chaos, but you need to be willing to embrace the chaos. You have to be willing to allow the innovative process to mess about and then slowly turn into something. You know, the sculptor that chisels has a raw piece of granite that is complete chaos to me. Well, it was not a sculptor, but they see something in it and they're able to form it. And that's what creativity is. So I've developed this for my own life and I've taught it to artists and now I'm teaching it to industry. There are 3 kind of components to the creative process. The first is visualize. You have to visualize. This is dream. This is asking the question, what if? And just letting your imagination flow when it comes to, say you have a problem and it's, what if we did this? What if we did that in the solution process? And this is important, play with the what if. Do not overanalyze it too quickly, because what we often do is go, what if this? No, we can't because of that. What if this? No, that won't work. So we get into our analytical head too quick. And this completely destroys our creative process because we need to play. And this is, if you hear nothing else from me, this is probably like the gold. But play with solutions and let your mind run. It's beyond brainstorming. It's not just listing out a bunch of things, but it's actually being imaginative in the process. Then once you have a good imagination of what you think might happen, now you analyze. Now you move to asking why. And that's a very important question. And you ask what and how and when, and you develop a strategy in analysis. So first visualize, then analyze. And the third is then you realize this. It is in the realization phase that you set goals. This is tactics. And it's really important to understand that like if you have a goal that you fail, it doesn't mean that your dream has failed. It doesn't mean the vision has failed. It means you have failed in a tactic, which means adjust the tactics, right? Do that first, work on the tactic, and don't just blow up the whole thing because you have one goal that fails. And we do this so often, right? It's, oh, I'm going to do this and I've got these goals and, oh, I failed. Oh, I didn't make it. And then we're like, well, I guess it's not for me. No, it's just a tactic. And the cool thing is when you start achieving a goal, you could then go back to the vision and go, okay, is this vision still, in light of this data, is this vision still relevant? Yes. Okay. Is the analysis right? Yes. Okay. What's my new goal? And you start creating this flywheel of energy. And that's how you accomplish things as a creative person.
Oh, yeah. Very powerful, this process. And the next question I have for you is, in this age of AI, is AI there's all this concern, is going to take our jobs, and what is going to happen to creativity? Is there going to be a new type of creativity? Talk about your thoughts on AI and this intersection.
Yes. It's a forking path that happens simultaneously. And let me start by saying that if you're on the fence about AI, whether you should engage with it, I'm going to tell you, you need to.
Yeah.
It's like, should I ride in cars? Would that be a good? Yes, you should. It's a very valuable technology. And the reason with AI, you need to really pay attention to it now is the next innovation is coming quicker than this one. But we are shortening the space between massive innovations. So you have to be up on this. My parents recently just got iPads, and this is like the most mind-blowing thing to them ever, which is great. It's very cute. It's like, how do I do that? But if they were trying to be involved in industry, they would probably be way behind because that's a very old technology now. So you don't want that to happen. AI is more than a tool. I think that's the first thing you have to understand, that it's not just a calculator. It's not just a wrench. AI is a collaborative entity that allows you to be more efficient in your work. And I think that's probably the best thing that AI does is that it creates efficiencies. And it could be extremely helpful because it creates speed in your process. In the creative process, you could create speed. You could, for example, in the visualize idea where if you're ideating and you could bounce things off of a language learning model of what if this, what if that, and it may spark ideas you never had before. That is really helpful. Or if you're automating a process in your business so you don't have to be in the trenches clanging away at something that's boring, that is extremely helpful. However, you need to evaluate all this stuff within your creative process because, and this is important, sometimes efficiency is not helpful. Sometimes efficiency actually messes up your core directive. Just because you could do something more efficiently doesn't mean you should. You can have, at a fine restaurant, you could have a robot walk up with a screen where you order like you're at McDonald's and it shows up at your table. And maybe for the extreme reclusive extrovert, that might be attractive. Some days I think that's attractive. But if you're going to a fine restaurant, you're there for the theater of the food and the service and all of these things. And making it efficient and cold will actually detract. At first, it might be novel and that'd be cool. But once the novelty wears off, you're going to detract from the experience of it. And this will decrease what you're actually trying to do, which is food theater. Restaurants that are not fast food, what they are experiential theater, which is centerpiece is food. That's the first thing they have to understand, right? So efficiencies may not be helpful. And that's why you need a COP, a creative operating procedure. So you understand what your core deliverables are creatively and don't over automate and create efficiencies where you need human interaction. And I guess that's the second fork is I highly recommend that if you want to be ready for the next thing that's coming in 5 years, learn analog skills. It's completely counterintuitive, but people are going to begin to forget how to do analog. They're going to forget how to actually write the music, actually play the guitar, actually paint. They're going to forget these things. So the person that knows how to actually pick up a guitar and actually write a song in front of people, that person's that's going to be magic to us because we're looking for those types of interactions.
Wow. Yeah. And like I said, the first wave of this, we saw this whole 24 years of just absolute disruption of so many industries just by almost 4 or 5 companies. And the next wave is coming with AI and it's going to be faster and it's going to be harder. And so it's not knowing AI is like not knowing how to speak or read, or it's not having a website or not having a smartphone or not being on social media now.
So true. So true. I'm sure in your industry in medicine, you probably see AI in there all over the place, eh?
Oh yeah. There's so many areas that AI can come in and just fix so many problems, especially healthcare. Healthcare is just such a old, antiquated system.
But back to what you said actually before that question, because you talked about these skills, these presentation skills, the soft skills. AI cannot replace you, Christopher, right? You looking at a patient, smiling at them with your great smile, letting them know that you care, that you're there for them, that that medicine is more than just fixing a car, that there's this other element to it. AI can never replace you. It can't, because we need that human part of it, or we become dehumanized. And I don't think that's probably going to be conducive to actual healing.
Yes. Do you think that the AI will get so good that it becomes a category of its own, or basically gets better than human creativity? Because I was reading, some people believe that the AI can get so good that it's going to be more creative than humans, or just become a category of its own, like AI creativity.
Yeah. Oh, I think we're already experiencing that, right? Piece of AI art won a major art competition in Colorado, I think it was, and there was all this kerfuffle. And that is a problem. The problem is for the upcoming artist who goes, why should I learn how to pile pigment on paper when I could click 3 buttons and get something that rivals Picasso? That's a real issue. But the real problem I think we're going to find with AI is it inherently lacks soul, right? The disparate human experience cannot be quantified with data points. I say this in my show. We know when love happens. We can track it. We could go into the human brain and put the electrodes on, and we see the synapses firing. And when somebody is having a romantic feel, we're like, oh, there it is. We could see it happening. We could track it. We could trace it. We know what's up. We understand the stimulus. But anybody that loves or has been loved know there's something far more wonderful going on than just a few synapses. There's something deeper, something spiritual, something otherly. And AI can't do that. AI doesn't have a soul. It will become unbelievably efficient at creativity. But human beings, trust me, are going to find other ways to find our own creative stamps in the midst of this efficiency. This is partly why I love magic so much. Like AI can never replace a magician, because magic is actually less about the trick and more about the human or interaction than anything. So I'm not even worried about it.
Yeah. I'll probably be dead by the time it's hopefully, but
I mean, with Elon's new robot army that he's, maybe they'll put a Derek face on it and be like, hey, would you like to see some magic? Skynet.
I really enjoyed this conversation. How can people find you and check out your TEDx talk? Those will be in the show notes, and learn more about you, follow your social media, etc.
Yeah, great. I'm on all the socials. My name is Derek Selinger. And just like it's spelt in the show notes, you can find me in all the socials. My website is derekselinger.com. So if you're a part of an industry or corporation that'd like to talk to me about what I do, by all means, hit me up there. And I've got a little YouTube channel. Again, my name's Derek Selinger, where I talk about some of the things we talked about. It's really small, but it's highly actionable stuff. And I put PDFs in my show notes, so you could take them out and refer to them for your own use.
Excellent. And I really enjoyed this. Keep up the great work. And thanks so much for coming on and sharing your experience and wisdom in this area.
Thanks for having me, my friend.